Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to do this sidestep card using the Impressions Abloom stamps and dies and the Floral Impressions Designer Series paper. This one I've done, excuse me, in Pretty in Pink card base, and this one I'm going to use the incoming color Strawberry Slush. I used the Modern Oval Punch to create a base for the flowers on the front, and this one is stamped also in the Pretty in Pink, and I've stamped the greetings already for the card we're going to build today in the Strawberry Slush. So I'm just going to pop that up there so I've got it as an example, and I do have the template here for the sidestep card. It is the standard 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it 4 1/4, but then we're also going to do a cut down here and then some scoring along here. The dimensions for the scoring are here, so at 2 1/4 from the top, 4 1/4 from the top, then 3 1/4 here, and 2. So this is 2 and then 3 1/4. So measure down here and then up here. So let's get started. I'm just going to pop that out of the way, move that out of the way, and I'm going to just lay this over here for now. I just make sure that you can see it all. Yes. Okay, so I've got my 5.5 by 8.5 piece of paper. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4, and that gives me kind of a registration line. I'm just going to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So at 4 1/4, my cutting blade out of the way. So there we go. So we're scored all the way across as if we're making a standard card. So I'm just going to measure this again. Did I do it at 4 1/4? Yes, I scored it at 4 1/4. It just, yep, sorry, it just looked funny. So, okay, so I am going to take my cutting blade and I need to cut in. This width here is 2.5, and I know that because this piece here is 2 by 2.5, so this piece here is 3, this is 2.5, and I know that, so I'm going to move this over to 2.5 here. Okay, so I'm going to do my score or my cut line down here, and I know I need to cut from 2 1/4 from the top to 1 inch from the bottom. So when I line this up, 2 1/4 from the top is 1, 2. So at 6 1/4 I need to start, and then I need to stop at 11.5. Okay, so I'm going to start scoring. I said at 6 1/4, right? So I'm going to come in at 6 1/4, and I'm going to line this up, and I've just moved my paper. So I'm coming in at 2.5 here, and I'm going to line this up. So I start scoring at 6 1/4, and I know I'm at 6 1/4 because the little line on the side here is lined up with 6 1/4, and I'm going to score or cut down to 11.5 because I need to be 1 inch from the bottom. So I'm just going to drag the cutter down until I line up with 11.5. Okay. So what I've got is a cut mark from 2 1/4 from the top to 1 inch from the bottom. And now I need to score that. And I'm going to move this down like this because it's easier for me to do it this way. So this line here is going to be this line here. Okay. So I need to score at 2 1/4. So I'm going to come in at 2 1/4. And I'm going to bring my scoring piece up, and I'm going to score to that cut line. Okay, so I've done that score. We've already got our score at 4 1/4. So now I need to come in from this side. I need to score 1 inch from here. So this is 4 1/4. So I'm going to come in at 1 inch from the 4 1/4. And I'm going to score again, just to the cut line. And then I'm going to come another 1 1/4 from that. So 1 1/4 is here. And I'm going to score again, just to that cut line. And then I'm going to score at 1 inch. And so I'm using this side here. I've got my 1 inch here. And again, scoring just to that cut line. Okay. And if your scores go over a little bit, it's not a big deal. But what we are going to do now is we're going to fold this. And this is going to be our mountain fold here. And this is going to be a valley fold and a mountain fold and a valley fold and a mountain fold. So it comes up like this. We can take our bone folder and just strengthen those score lines. And you can do it from the other side as well if you want. These ones you can score just by sliding in underneath. So there we go. That is our side step card base. So again, we cut our 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then we scored it for the fold line at 4 1/4. And we cut from 2 1/4 from the top to 1 inch from the bottom, and I used the ruler on my cutting tool to do that. And then we just come in and we add our score lines in. And the dimensions in here, the larger dimension, this is 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. That's the full size. The 1 by 2 1/4 is your DSP size. So the smaller of the sizes in the boxes are your designer series paper sizes. And then the piece that goes at the bottom is, this is just a 3/4 inch because this is 1 inch. So it's 3/4 by 2 1/4. So we're just going to start adding our designer series paper now. I have it all pre-cut so I can add it in. We're just going to add some adhesive and layer it up, making sure my flowers are the correct way up. Just like that. Then we're going to take this piece, which is 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, and we're going to add it in to this fold here, leaving that equal distance all the way around. Then we're going to take the 1 by 2 1/4 piece, and we're going to pop it in here. This is our 1 1/4 score, like that. And then this is supposed to be 3/4, but I did 1 inch again. So I'm just going to bring my trimmer back, and I'm going to cut this down to 3/4. Okay, so just trim that piece off. And then we can attach this. We're just going to attach it just like this. Okay, and then we can start layering on our pieces. So what I've done is I've die cut all the pieces out. This is the back of the paper with the leaf die, and then I've used the right and left leaves here to cut out some more leaves. And then I've stamped the flowers in Pretty in Pink with the strawberry slush over top. And then I just die cut them out. And then I've stamped the greetings, and I just trimmed them out with my scissors. So I use the corrugated folder, the mini corrugated folder, just to add some interest to this. You could absolutely do this as a flat front as well. There's only a little bit of it that shows, but I like the detail in behind. So you could do both if you want. So I built this as a unit, and I took one of the flowers here and one of the leaves, and I'm dimensionalizing this. So I use the dimensional to attach the leaf. So I just popped it on like that. And then I added just another dimensional here, and then peeled these off. So the reason I've kind of done a lot of the work ahead is because I wanted to, I really wanted to show how to do the side step itself. And this one, I'm just going to put this way up because I think it looks better that way. Now, what I did with these leaves is I took just some regular adhesive and I popped it down like this. And I can use the regular adhesive even though it shows through because I will be dimensionalizing the flowers over top. Actually, I flat mounted these flowers, sorry. So I flat mounted this flower and I popped it just over top like this. And then I added in another flower underneath. But I just need to fix this because I did it this way. There we go. I just tucked it in so that you could, it looked like there was layers to the flowers. Okay. And then I popped this one in like that. Okay. Then I dimensionalized this whole thing onto the front of the card. So I just popped a couple of dimensionals on the back. We'll peel those off, we'll add it to the front, and then we'll add the greeting, and then we can add the other flowers and leaves to the steps. So I just pop this down like this. And then I did the thanks, which is dimensionalized. And I popped the dimensionals down just a little bit lower because I want it to overlap what I've already dimensionalized. So I'm just tucking this under here like this. I'm just going to make sure that I'm straight. And then pop it down. And then this is dimensionalized as well. And I will add that, but I'm going to add that last because I'm going to build from the back to the front of the card. Okay. So what I did for the flowers here is these are dimensionalized as well. And I did the same thing. I used a dimensional to hold the leaves onto the flowers. So this one had 2 leaves on the back of it. So I just popped like 1 leaf here and 1 leaf here. So that's where I'm going to want them. And I used dimensionals to hold those down. Just like that. You could use your basic, just your regular Stampin' Seal if you want to, or you can use the dimensionals to hold it down. It doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. And again, you can do this side step card with any stamp set you like that's got some different pieces to it. And I'm just going to tuck this in like this. And sorry, I shouldn't have put the dimensional at the top here, so I'm just going to peel that off. And we're just going to pop it on like that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the second flower, but I want this one, I want the leaf to be kind of poking up, so we're going to do it on that side there. And we're going to just add the dimensional like that. And add a second dimensional, and then we will again pop this down so that it overlaps right here. So we're just going to pop that down like that, and then we've got the leaf going over top. When it's closed, it looks like more of a bouquet, and then we're going to put the greeting on the front. So I'm just dimensionalizing this greeting, and it's the for being there. So we've got the thanks for being there. And we're just going to pop this down. You can add bling to this if you want to, but I thought with the busyness of the background, then the bling would just get lost. Now, if this is sagged a bit and you're not happy with how much it's sagged, see, this one is fairly good. This one is sagged just a little bit. All I did is I took my punch and I just laid it over top of the card overnight, and it held it together. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the sidestep card and that you've found it useful. So again, we introduced the strawberry slush. It's just one of the new in colors coming in May. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.